Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Greenville, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Greenville, Texas. On every episode, Tanisha Denny will share Greenville's story through the stories of people who call Greenville home. This is Heart of Greenville.
Thank you for watching Heart of Greenville. I asked Liz Patterson to come on the show because I've watched her grow her business from the ground up and also be someone who didn't grow up in Greenville but who has made Greenville their home. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Liz Patterson. Hey y'all, I'm Tanisha Denny, your host of Heart of Greenville. Today, we are sitting down at 430 Oakwood Drive in Greenville, Texas, currently listed by Mandy Stewart with REMAX 3D Real Estate. And our guest today is Miss Liz Patterson. Liz, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Okay, before we hit start, I said, tell me the name of your company. And you gave me the whole name. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let you tell the name of your company. So share with our audience what the name of your company is.
It's Prestige Integra Insurance. And a lot of people know it by Prestige Benefits Group, but that's the corporate name. And so our DBA is Prestige Integra Insurance. And that's what's on the building at our office.
And I love your new office location.
Oh, we do too. It is just a breath of fresh air, and it's just in the middle of everything, and we just love it. We love being over there.
For those that don't know, it's at the intersection of Wesley Street and Poplar, and I remember when there was a fire station there years and years ago when I was a kid, and then that was demoed, and that lot sat empty forever, and I always thought something really cool could go right there, and so every time I drive by there, I think about you and how cool you get to be on that corner right in the center, in the heart of Greenville.
Well, and we tell everybody we're right between the Snowflake Donut Shop and Bank of America, so they know exactly where we're at. And it's easy to find. We're just right across the street from the donut shop.
That's awesome. Well, I want our audience to get to know Liz. I know you from being in Rotary with you, but like we talked about before we hit start, you've known me since I worked at Brookshire's when I was 16. So we go way back. Yeah. And I know your heart and your heart for service and your heart for other people. And so that's what I want people to get to know about you. But you're not from Greenville, so tell us, where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Well, I was born in Dallas. Went to high school in Dallas until I was 15. And my mom and dad decided they wanted to go to the suburbs. So they bought a house in Irving, and they ripped me out of my junior high. Oh. I was junior high school cheerleader, and had grown up with all the same friends, and we were all going to high school together. And when they said we're moving to Irving, I just fell apart.
I bet. So what grade were you in?
I was ninth grade.
Ninth
grade. And we moved to Irving and went to a big school. It was a high school. So ninth and 12th, through 12th was high school. And so I went kicking and screaming.
So I have a similar story. My parents moved me here when I was in the second half of 8th grade, and it was one of the most devastating times in my life. I think as a teenage girl, to be pulled from your friends when you've been plugged in with them for all those years, it develops a lot of grit, but man, those are some hard days and years.
But looking back, I'm glad that happened. But those days, I cried all the time. And I'd call my friends up that were still in Dallas, and we'd kind of talk. And then I got involved in drill team at the high school and kind of started getting, ingrained in the groove at the new high school, which is MacArthur High School. And so...
Did you go back and thank your parents later for moving you?
Because I wish I had have.
Looking back, I actually ended up thanking my parents because I'd moved from a small school too, and moving to Greenville was such a big school compared to where I moved from, and it was still in Hunt County. But looking back, it set me up for a different level.
Oh, exactly.
Of life.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to see that when you're a 15-year-old girl.
No, it was not good. But anyway, went to high school there, and I met James, but we weren't high school sweethearts.
Oh, okay. No. We have to be clear about that.
No, I dated a lot of people, and then the second semester of our senior year, I had a drill team banquet, so I asked him to go with me, and then we just kind of, ever since then, and we dated for a couple of years after high school and got married in 75 when we were looking for apartments, and we never would look for apartments in Irving when we were getting ready to get married and stuff. He kept coming to Greenville. I thought, well, and he never would say, we're moving to Greenville. I thought, okay. So we kept looking for apartments in Greenville, and finally, and long story short, his family had moved their business here. And that's when we got married. We moved here and have been here since 75.
That's what I was wondering. What
Yeah.
brought him to Greenville, and what was their business?
It was Patterson Trenching and Underground Utilities.
Okay.
And so he was in that family business for 15 years, but we moved here in 75, and he brought me kicking and screaming at another level for 5 years. I mean, I cried for 5 years, and you could ask him. He'll tell you.
Oh, bless your
every
heart.
day. And so I would go back and forth to Irving every day because that's when traffic was nothing on the interstate.
True.
And, for a long time, I never would set it foot in a store, didn't do anything in Greenville for the first 5 years. And then we had Vince was born, and we started kind of getting in the groove and going, he went to school here, was raised in, started at St. Paul's and went to Phoenix, and we started going, church and all that stuff and meeting people. And then I got my first job at E-Systems.
Oh, wow.
That was my first job here. And then I worked there for 3 years and decided I wanted to be in the dental field. And I love teeth, and that's the first thing I look at is teeth and hair.
How funny.
And I can spot a crown a mile away from somebody. I love it. So I found a job with a dentist that was opening up, coming out of dental school. And I helped him open up his practice. Left E-Systems after 3 years.
What did you do at E-Systems?
Well, I was in accounting.
Okay.
That was my first job in accounting. And so I was there for 3 years, and I wanted to be a dental assistant. So I went and helped him open up his practice. It was Dr. Randy Evans.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And so I worked his front office and assisting, and then I just, evolved into assisting for the 3 years that I worked there. But I later learned that the dentist and the hygienist made all the money.
This is true.
They made all the money. And so later I ended up getting a job at Surveyor, which was a subsidiary of E-Systems.
Right.
And I was there for 18 years.
Were you really?
Yeah.
And what did you do there?
Well, I started out in purchasing, and then I was a secretary, then I went administrative assistant, and then I was a buyer. I bought all their capital equipment for the division. So it was fun, and went on a lot of business trips and just had a lot of friendships. And there was 100 of us that lost our jobs in 98 when they closed the division down.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this. I've known you forever, and I didn't know any of this. I'm so glad you're sharing that. So did you leave the dental field? Was it a financial reason?
Well, it was not really. It's just I knew that I wanted to progress just in my career and life and whatever, and I wanted to, do more. And I found the opportunity, and then the company had insurance, so that was another thing. So I moved on and got a job at Surveyor, and I was there for 18 years. And then during the time I was getting my college credits, because you could get college credits in working because they would pay for it, which was really good.
Oh, that's a great benefit.
But anyway, I did that, and in 98 is when they closed the division down, and we all lost our jobs, and then went on to other things.
What did you do after that? And how did that feel? I mean, at least you weren't alone in that, but was that was that hard personally?
It was, because I thought, what am I going to do?
Right.
I had no idea what I was going to do.
And how old was Vince at that point?
He was still in high school.
Okay.
He was a junior. I think he was a junior in high school, fixing to be a senior.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
And you're looking at college
Yeah.
and all the things that are about to happen for that. And so what did you do after that?
Well, I was temping at just, back and forth in different places. And Vince was in high school playing soccer. And one Saturday, and so when didn't have any insurance, had lost our insurance. So I was talking to my friend Pam on a Saturday, and I asked her, I said, Pam, we don't have any insurance. Who do we call? She said, well, you need to call this lady called by the name of Charlotte Brown. So that's in the days of phone books. You go and look these people up.
Yes.
And I looked her name up. I found her and went and visited with her. And so she couldn't give us insurance because of, back then, medical underwriting and stuff. We had some medical issues going on. And but she asked me what I was doing, and I said, well, I'm just temping. I'm in between jobs. I said, I'd like to have a job where I could have flexibility, not have it ripped out from under me like having a company close us down.
Right.
And be a service to people. And those were the exact same things I said. And she said, well, how would you like to sell life insurance? I said, well, I don't know. I mean, that doesn't sound like fun to me because my first job out of high school was in Dallas at Life Insurance of the Southwest.
Oh.
And it was a life insurance agency, and I hated it.
And you hated that?
I thought, this is so boring. And
Why did you hate it?
it just wasn't interesting, and nothing I found about life insurance, selling life insurance or anything was interesting to me. It just, at that time.
At
'cause
that
I was,
point.
what, 18 or 19?
Well, that's true. That,
You know?
death seems so far away at that
exactly.
point.
So that was kind of
funny.
weird. But anyway, so the next Friday, we were at a soccer game. And I remember it was at Paris on a Friday night. I still remember this.
How funny.
And I went to Pam. I said, Pam, remember that lady you told me to call to help us with insurance? Well, she couldn't help us, but she offered me a job. She said, I said, you remember Charlotte Brown? She said, well, I don't know who you're talking about. Who's Charlotte Brown?
What?
I said, the lady you told me to call. And I went and looked her up. And
Right.
it was a total Twilight Zone moment. Had to have been.
Really?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
So she had no recollection
No.
that she told you that.
So the only thing that I can figure out is this came to me in a dream. I don't know. It was a divine intervention.
I was going to say, it was very
Yeah.
much divine intervention.
Yes.
And whatever she said came out as Charlotte Brown.
Yes. But I mean,
That's
how
what
would
God
I
had
know-
you hear.
Yes. How would I have known to look her up? I didn't know her.
There'd be no way.
And she was in the phone book.
Oh, yeah.
And I went and met her. And she said, I don't know who she is.
How
Never heard of her.
funny.
And
That's really cool.
Yeah. Chills came over me.
I bet. That's when
Be-
you know God was involved.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he was going to say, you're going to sell insurance. You're going to sell life insurance, and you're going to like it.
And remember the thing you hated when you were 18? That's going to be your career.
Exactly. So anyway, long story short, I did go work for her for 4 years.
I remember that.
Yeah.
She was a go-getter.
Yeah.
She was probably one of your best mentors as
She
far
was.
as learning. But she was compassionate. She really did believe in what she was selling.
She was a good teacher.
Yes, she was.
She missed her calling. She should have been a teacher. But she, and so I learned a lot working for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was during the 9/11 time. And then after that,
Did that impact the business?
no, not that I can recall.
Did you primarily focus on life insurance at that point, or were there
No.
you did other things too?
Yeah, because actually, before I had gone a step back, before I'd gone to work for her, I got my AFLAC
Oh, yes.
certification to sell AFLAC. And I had worked through the Commerce office, and I didn't do good. I
Oh.
just did not. I was not good at it because every time I'd go into an employer's office, they said, "Well, that's fine, but we need group health," and I knew nothing about it.
Right.
And so when I went to work for Charlotte, that's where I learned all the, things about selling group and individual and all the different carriers and how all this, works. So that's how I got my start in group health, small group for small employers. And so I worked there for about 4 years, and they decided to sell their business. They closed out, and they were selling to galleons.
Okay.
So that's who bought them
yes.
out.
Okay.
And they wanted me to go to work for them, and I thought, I'll just do my own thing. James said, the business, how to, you know everybody. And so I had a non-compete, so I had to kind of do it slow and get my own contacts. But, God was with me because it worked. And so I eventually opened up an office. That was the first office that I had right next door to you.
Yes. When we
Yeah.
were on 34.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was my first real estate office.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so cool.
Yeah, that's
Gosh,
how we,
that was back in 2009
Uh-huh.
when we did that.
yeah.
How funny.
And so I was there for a little while, and then
we have to give a shout out to Newman Peters. He
I
gave us a
know,
chance.
He did.
Two independent ladies opening their own companies in the middle of a recession.
Exactly.
And he leased to us anyway.
It was good, and it was neat because it was right down close to my house, and it worked good for the time.
Yeah.
And I had an employee, and so it kind of grew from there, and And
You know, you may have hated life insurance at 18, but you've had my insurance for years. But you do care about life insurance, and
I do.
and you have gotten to be there. I know you've gotten to be there for people when that tragedy does happen, when people do pass away, and when that family can come in and know that they have those expenses covered because they have that insurance. That has to be where your joy comes from, that you were helping to serve.
yeah, it does. But fortunately, I haven't had to deliver that type of check yet. And
Really?
and I hope I don't have to. But getting to that point where you can get them insured is kind of a struggle sometimes. And a lot of people don't know, and I'm determined, to get that policy written one way or another.
You are.
So
I can
you
attest
can ask
to that.
your mom,
Yes,
because we just
between
went through that.
her and my own. Yes.
So there's just some things that you kind of have to know how to go about, and persistency, and I'm just determined to get it done. But anyway, yeah.
You just said a word, determined, and I was sitting here thinking that you are a determined lady, and you have a lot of grit, and you just don't give up. Where did that come from?
I guess just from seeing, growing up and knowing that I wanted to get to a certain place in life, and I couldn't get there unless, without hard work. And you have to have hard work, but you got to love what you do.
Yes.
Oh,
you
and
do.
that's biggie.
It really is.
And I like what I do. And like when I told Charlotte that first time that I wanted to, have my own flexibility, have my own income, and be a service to people, that's where this comes in, the insurance business, and you can do this job for as long as you want.
Right.
So, but when people call me and say, well, do you have insurance for such and such? And I don't want to say no.
Right.
I always say, well, yeah, let me find out. And then if I can't get it for them, I get somebody that does. But I hate to tell people no.
I know. I've seen you work really hard, for people, and you seem to have a really good network with other people in the industry where maybe if you don't offer something, you can refer them to someone else locally, and they do the same for you. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, you're taking care of our community
Yeah.
and making sure that people have the services they need.
Yeah, and I'm a member of the Dallas Association of Health Underwriters, so we meet once a month, and it's brokers all over the Dallas area that, we meet. And so we kind of share, each other and refer to each other, even though we're in the same business, but sometimes there's something we can't do or we need help. We call on each other, which is really good. If I don't know the answer, I know where to go. I know where to get the answer.
Right.
So that's been a valuable organization for me to be a part of. Yeah.
Let's talk about James for a minute. So he moved you out here. What did he do after he moved you here and you finally succumbed to the fact you were going to be in Greenville?
Well, they had that family business. So he worked in it for 15 years. And then he wanted to go to college. So he left the family business in 98, I believe. And
that was a big transition year.
It was.
Wow.
So I worked 2 jobs to put him through school.
Wow.
And for 7 years, we did that. Because it took him, because he worked nights. And he got a job at E-Systems working nights and going to school full time during the day. And I was still at Surveyor.
Okay.
And so we did that for 7 years. And the only entertainment we had that we could afford was Vince's soccer games on the weekends or tournaments or whatever.
Oh,
because
wow.
money was tight.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And, he didn't have much time because he was either studying or working.
And what was he going to school for?
His degree, he says, but he ended up getting a math degree and a minor in political science. But yeah, so but while he was doing that, he was working, nights at E-Systems, and then once he got his degree, he went full time during the day. But I bawled my eyes out when he walked across that stage getting that degree.
Oh, I bet.
Because we sacrificed a lot those 7 years, just home life and just not doing a lot and making sure that we could, our finances. And because, I was working 2 jobs. I sold jewelry and then Mary Kay, and then I worked my full-time job. And
I can so see you do that. You have that hustle in you.
Sell.
That's right. Well, and that had to be your way, even since you didn't have the money to do social things, being able to do Mary Kay and sell jewelry allowed you to be around other women and other people and be able to have some form of social. How did you get through those days? Because those are hard days. You don't see your husband. He's working nights. He's going to school. You're raising your son. What was your common thing that would kept you together and you came back together with?
A prayer.
Really?
I mean, it really is because, we went through hard times and the support of my parents, because if it hadn't been for them, just emotional.
Right.
Because that's a big transition when you're leaving your job at 34 and not knowing what you're going to do,
Right.
And going back, starting from scratch, going to college and then having a family and trying to keep up,
And you had to both have that same common vision and goal and passion and feel like that was going to, set you apart and get you where you wanted to be.
And looking back, that was the best thing for us. I think everybody needs to have some type of struggle in their life because they appreciate where they get to later.
Yes.
And and my mom would, because we lived in the same little house for 20 years. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And I kept saying, Mom, I'm never going to get out of this house. She said, oh, yes, you will. And so looking back, you just go through these struggles and to reap the rewards later.
I don't think you appreciate the rewards
unless
you struggle. I think it's that struggle that makes you truly, genuinely appreciate. But it also makes you want to reach back and help others when you see them struggling.
Yeah.
It's, my mother-in-law, she would stick a 20 in Dakin's pocket sometimes when we first got married. And just those little things that, I guess we were both going to college and trying to, and being married and doing all that. And so I think it's so important when we get to this point, like where you're at, it's nice to be able to turn back around and help that other person with a hand up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your service. Let's talk about what you love to do. I know you're involved in Rotary, but then you also have some other things you do with your company. I know I've seen you advertising, doing different things for fish ministry. So share with us some of your heart and passion for our local community that way.
Well, we try to do, get our office involved. So we try to do some service projects. And 2-3 years ago, we did the gift boxes for the soldiers. So we did that one year, which really was kind of neat. We mailed out 111 boxes to deployed soldiers.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was one of the things that we did. And then we did the PB&J campaign. We've done that 3 years in a row for fish, for the Meals for At-Risk Kids.
Oh, that's wonderful. They need that so much.
And so it's really kind of neat because the paper, the Hellbrandner, helps us advertise. And by doing that, we get people in the community wanting to participate. So people that aren't in civic organizations like you and I don't know about some things. And that gives them time or an opportunity to help other people. So we've done that, and we've done that for 3 years. And this last year, we ended up gathering like over 500 jars of PB&J to send to fish.
Wow.
So we did that from our office. And then we're going to sponsor a blood drive with Carter with ServPro here next month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're going to do that. And I was trying to think of something else that we've done, but we've tried to do some activities that's sponsored through our office, just to kind of get our office staff involved. And just, that's another way of advertisement, really.
Right.
Just kind of giving back to the community. And then I've joined the fish board just recently.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's such a worthy cause. That's such a great organization for our community.
Yeah. So we've done, James and I one year did the packing of the boxes for the meals, and so we try to do something every year. And then another project that we've decided to do, two of us are doing Meals on Wheels once a month.
Is that where you take it to the elderly?
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessing.
It's really humbling. The first time I did it, of course, it's two people. So Vince and I decided we wanted to do this as a office project. So the first month, which is November, he had COVID.
Oh, no.
So I had to have help. So James drove me, and I did the running. Woo. And I didn't eat breakfast that day. And I thought, they didn't tell me I need to eat breakfast because these people, they work hard at the Senior Resource Center.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
They deliver over, like 3,000 meals a week or something. It's pretty. It's a lot. So I did that. The first was November, and then December, Vince was able to help me. So I said, Betty, you're being the runner. I'm driving. I'll tell you where to go. So we got done in like an hour and a half. It took me 2 hours. But it was fun, and he enjoyed it. And it's, something we're doing from the office, that's an office project. And we're just trying to find something every month to kind of do as a service project, through our office.
How does it feel to have your son working for you?
It's just... I wish I could afford it sooner. He has been such a blessing because of his background, number one. He's been in the insurance business 15 years, but on the corporate side.
Oh.
So he's been an underwriter with several different companies, and he wanted to just kind of, because he was always traveling. And last January, he joined our office. And it's been great because he works with the girls that do the home and auto and the commercial. And he's real detail-oriented, so he reads contracts and stuff, and it's helped them. We brought on a lot of business since he's come on board, just a lot of large group account. I mean, not commercial accounts.
Commercial.
And so it's been fun because, he's a hoot anyway, but it's been good. It's been a blessing, and it's helped me because I can concentrate now on just my side of the business, the health, because it's changing all the time.
Right.
And you can't do it all.
I think it's such a neat, I love to see it standing on the outside looking in. I think it's really cool to see a mother-son get to work together every day. And just, it is such a blessing. Well, let's talk about real quick. We talked about your service. Share with our audience what you love about Greenville.
Oh, wow. Just, because I've been involved, way back from Follies. I got involved in Follies years back. So I was in nearly quite a few Follies. And I'm not a singer, but I love to dance. So I was in a lot of dance numbers and always a kick line number. That was my favorite. But getting to meet people in the community and become friends, and you get to know their backgrounds, if they're where they work, their families and stuff, and you get to know them on a deeper level. That was so much fun all those years. And then one year, I was a general with Sue Jones and Tish Thomas. I was a general that year. That was the year I didn't get to perform because I fractured my ankle, and so that was. But anyway, did that, and then of course Rotary.
Yes. And
the chamber, being part of the chamber, is so important.
You've been an ambassador for them, right?
Yeah, I'm an ambassador, and I like that part of it because I get to reach out to some of the businesses, and introduce myself and just kind of get to know them. And help them if they need help. But being part of the chamber, you get to meet other business owners on a personal level because we have the business before hours, the business after hours, some of these little social functions that we can do and still are able to do to some extent now with COVID, but it's changed a lot. But there are a lot of activities that people can be a part of and just kind of get involved. And you end up developing the friendships. And because my son grew up here, we had the deep roots with their families and the kids. And he started at St. Paul and went to Phoenix and all those teachers, and so just being in a small community, you get to know a lot of people.
So when you moved here, did you think this would become your forever home and this is where your roots would go deep?
45 years later, we're still here.
Well, I'm so glad you're still here. You have been such a light in our community. And so thank you for sharing your heart and sharing yourself with others. I asked you to pick a number before. So here's your question. Okay. What was the last experience in your life that made you the strongest?
Going through what James and I went through.
With him going to college, those 7 years.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a big sacrifice in our family. It was. And I think it affected Vince because he saw that, going through, we struggled, but yet still we made it and we were able to succeed and, have a business and, have a new home and be able to go on vacations again. And that struggle made us stronger.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I can see that. It made you a stronger family unit, but also was such an example to your son.
Yeah, and he sees that, And
he's done that too in his life. I know he works really hard and has worked hard to be able to come here.
Yeah,
be
and
with
he's
you.
made some sacrifice. So when he divorced and moved from Frisco, because when he left Greenville, he said, "I'll never move back." So I said,
Famous
"Never
last
say
words.
never."
Yes.
Never say never. So they moved back 3 years ago, which is great because at least we had kids help him with our grandson, and now they've got another baby, and then they've got he's got 2 stepdaughters, which we all we went to Beaver's Bend with them last week, and we all had fun.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, just being here and the community and getting to know everybody on a deeper level. But I think people that are in business really need to participate in these, like the chamber, and maybe join a civic group, Rotary or Lions or Kiwanis or whatever, and get to know other people that are in business, because it makes a difference, and you become friends and
It
help
does.
each other out.
That's right. That's right. And that is how you become a part of the community.
Right.
Is getting to know people. Well, Liz, thank you so
Aw.
much for sitting down with me today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I learned new things too. And so thank you for being open and sharing all of that with our audience. And
Oh.
I just want to say I love serving with you, and I'm proud to call you a friend.
Oh, well, thank you. And just because of you, I'm in Rotary, because you brought me to Rotary. And so we've been friends ever since.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
You're
It's been
welcome.
fun.
Thank you, Liz.
All right.
Thank you for watching Heart of Greenville. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Greenville, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.